Okay, well, thank you for joining me. Welcome to our daily market review and analysis. It's Thursday. We are looking at Canadian pairs today. So obviously we will cover some element of some of the main trades that we are trying to stoke, and hopefully we'll have enough in here for varied taste, in addition to our bigger time swing trades we are looking for. So let's commence. Really not much to say about equity market. As you can see, the market is really in a very tight range, but nevertheless, in order to complete this particular move up, we're still expecting from current congestion to suddenly, even if we just have 1 or 2 day of spike high to complete the move, then we expect some reasonable retracement. So far it appears that we have 1, 2, and we're still working on a wave 3, and within the wave 3 we've got minor 1, minor 2, and I think all of this is the part of a wave minor 3, sideway possibly minor 4, and we are looking for this last leg up. Okay, so once we complete the last leg up, then of course we will come back and retrace some of it, and at that time, as I've been explaining, we will have an idea of where to put this brown trend line. At the moment I've simply put it there, but I've no idea where it's going to go really. So I will just make that one faint color. Okay, so we don't know exactly where it's going to go, but once we got that, then we are looking for a little bit deeper retracement, and after that deeper retracement we will expect another leg higher, from which then we can expect a much deeper retracement like so. So the first one we're expecting is going to be minor, relatively speaking, and then we're expecting a lot deeper. So for the time being, we're still expecting market to continue higher, but for some reason I don't know what it is waiting for and what the catalyst will be, but at the moment we are just basically trading sideways. I mean, I didn't know how many days, if we count them from here, it's nearly 10 days, it's nearly 2 weeks, and it's been in such a tight area. And once it completes from there, one can expect to have quite a strong once it breaks out of there, it will be a strong move. Whether the move will last or not is a different matter, but there will at least be a strong move because we've been trading so tightly in there. Okay, so everybody's waiting for some reason for something. If you look at the equity, oil looks like in this last leg up, it's probably done a minor 1 and probably about to complete a minor 2, and we should then be expecting it to continue higher. So for example, if I just draw it out, we go 1, 2, we expect 3, possibly retrace back 4, and then finally 5, something in that kind of manner. So the oil will continue higher, but the equity is not giving us any direction. We will check another index. This is the UK FTSE 100 index, and the corresponding move, that is, if you look at on the Dow Jones, we've been starting from the low here, which is back in November. So if you look at the corresponding move in the FTSE 100 index, so this is the one here back in November, this one, and here you can see clear 5 waves. You got wave 1 and 2, then you got wave 3, and within the wave 3, this is the daily chart, so within a wave 3 we've got minor 1, minor 2, minor 3, minor 4, and currently completing minor 5. And then if you drop down to 4 hour or 1 hour, you can see within that minor 5 we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure whether this is still part of a 4. In other words, are we going to expect another leg down, and then we go for the final leg up? So FTSE 100, it looks like it's a little bit more closer to completing its 5-wave move up from the same November low than the Dow Jones is. So maybe sometimes one index will probably be earlier than the other one. So FTSE seem to be leading for the time being and is closer. And if you look at the RSI, it is very, very close. So if you get another drive up, we'll get a clear divergence on the RSI. But even the FTSE is suggesting possibly another day or two of further up movement, not necessarily right away. I mean, we are currently retracing partially, so what we might find is that maybe next day and maybe Monday we might finish up retracing partly, and then finally making that next leg higher later on in the week. And my suspicion is that probably the US market will probably do the same. But I think on a Monday there's a bank holiday in US, so maybe less action going on a Monday. But it's unbelievably in a tight corner. Anyway, so that's what the UK index is suggesting. So we are not getting any great deal of direction from the equity market, other than it is neutral to upside, and the UK market is suggesting similarly neutral to upside. And what other market would we care to look at? See, Japan index. If you look at the Japanese index, it started off from here. So we've got initially wave 1. Is that also, no, this one is May last year. So you go initially wave 1, and then all of this sideways wave 2, and then we started in a wave 3, from which we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I think so that would conclude this 5 here. That would conclude this wave 3. So we may well be in a process of correcting on this Japanese index. So even that one is suggesting, let's look at the final one. So final one started from here. Final one started from here. So you go wave 1, wave 2, and then possibly this wave 1, wave 2, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5. So I think Nikkei index may well have topped. That may well have topped, and in which case we've already got wave 1, wave A down, or a 1 down retracement, and possibly in here you see this wave up is not a clear ABC. So what we might have is we might have wave 1 retracement A, ABC down. So maybe this one's got a bit more further upside to go before it begins to start coming down. So whilst it's topped, we've only got wave 1 down, and this would be A, this would be B, and this would be C, and C can be, you know, back a little bit higher or there. It could be here, say for example, and then start coming down in a real hurry. This is the 4-hour chart. So obviously, if for example tomorrow we get a market drop down and then race back up, and then Monday race back up and form a top and then start coming down. So it's significant because we will look at this chart along with the US dollar yen. Okay, but it looks like it has already topped and is currently in early stage of correcting. Okay, so most of these indexes are suggesting either sideways to upside market, but no strong directional trend until a little bit later on. I think maybe next week we'll probably start off the actual trending market. Right, so we are going to look at the dollar index to see what that one is doing. Now with the dollar index, I'd like you to just follow me, and I'm going to go over the general concept, okay, because now I think we are getting a little bit more clearer picture. So we won't get too bogged down in how we number all of this down here, but you know, there are two possible ways. We'll eventually find out which one is correct. Either we've got wave 1, 2, and then this one is 3 in red, and currently we're retracing wave 4. So what I'm saying, wave 4 or a wave B. So either we have that, or we have all of this as as possibly A, B and C to give us capital wave A, and we are now in a capital wave B formation here, and we will come down. Now previously I was saying that we have a potential contracting triangle. Well, that contracting triangle is now negated, it's no longer there. So what we have is this alternative, which is a flat correction, and the schematic diagram is this one here. So it follows from here. So we got A, B and C to give us that leg. So I put that one in capital, rather A in double parenthesis. Then we have ABC down to give us single parenthesis A, ABC up to give us single parenthesis B, and ABC down to give us single parenthesis in C. So now we've got wave A in parenthesis, wave B in parenthesis, and wave C now is currently under progression. So we've got a flat correction. Okay. Now the rule for the flat correction is we have ABC zigzag for A, A, B and C zigzag for wave B. So wave C will have 5 waves. So that's basically what we're looking at. Okay. So once that 5 waves are complete, so in other words, we are currently in this price here, and I think we are in the last leg. So once we complete that 5 wave, then a 5 wave could come up to here, or it could come up to further up, depending on basically how the waves form. But if you look at the RSI on the daily, then here you see RSI is almost beginning to curl over. So I think we don't have a very far to go. So we should form a final leg up, because I think we are in this portion here, wave 5. We've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5. So we are currently in a progression of wave 5. So once the wave 5 forms, we can see here that the dollar index is likely to turn over, okay, on a daily chart. If you look at the 4 hour, then you can see where we are. On 4 hour here, we got wave 1, wave 2, and then we got minor 1, minor 2, minor 3, minor 4, minor 5 to give us wave 3, A, B, C retracement to give us wave 4, and we are now in a wave 5. In a wave 5, we got 1, 2, and apparently for some reason in this data there's a gap here, but 1, 2, 3, currently retracing for 4, and once that's done, then we'll be going up for wave 5. So wave 5 could probably come back to this previous high here, somewhere in that area, and once that's complete, then we'll be looking for basic trend to the downside. We will have completed this flat correction, and this currently is the last move to the upside, and we will be getting a divergence, and the flat correction hopefully will be over. It's taken a long time, but nevertheless, what we also need to remember is once the flat correction is over, which I think probably will complete this week, daily chart. So maybe if we get a Friday tomorrow, if we get a strong day up on a dollar, that will probably complete the dollar index 5 wave up. Then we'll start coming down, and when we come down, we won't simply just within a few days just drop all the way down. You see, for example, so we'll come down like so. Let me just change the color on that one. So we'll come down like wave 1, for example, as a schematic idea of how it's going to come down. Wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 possibly. So it's going to come down in minor 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to give us one complete cycle of 1, right? Then we are going to get another retracement back up, but probably not as high, usual like 50% or 38%, which will be in ABC form, and then we'll be looking for a strong leg to the downside. So this is going to take a little while yet. Okay, so we're still going to be congested in some way. We'll still be within this zone, upper territory of this congestion being 80.5 or 80.80, and then the lower end being 70, or if you round it up, say 79. Okay, so that's going to take a time. Now how long is going to take? Well, if you look at this one, when it came down here, that took, from there to there, see, that took nearly 3 weeks. So we are talking about this one possibly taking something in the region of 2-3 weeks. Then we'll get a retracement back up before we start going down. So I think we'll still be in this area for probably another 2 weeks or so. So that means we're in the middle of February. I think by end of February we will have had the first leg down. We will probably started doing retracement, or we'll still be in the first leg. Maybe early March, maybe second week in March, we'll be retracing and then go down. So in terms of time frame, we're looking for maybe another 3 to 4 weeks still spending within this congestion range. But important thing is that we will be topping soon, most likely tomorrow or Monday we'll be topping, and then we'll be starting to coming down. That's how I think anyway, unless we get some kind of a weird complexion, because sometimes what happens, you get a flat correction, then you get another connecting wave X, and then you spend a whole sequence of waves within this pattern, and that's going to really annoy everybody. But if I just ask you to cast your eyes back, you see over here, I mean, we've obviously spent a lot more time than we did on the left hand side of the shoulder while we were going on the way up. But broadly speaking, you see ABC up, so this is more or less like, you know, here, this first one here correspond with that, and this next flash leg up is going to correspond with this one. So previously within this range here, overall we spent nearly 3 months. So in that comparison, we have already spent here like 3 months so far, not allowing for the time to the downside. So in that respect, I think we are probably there or thereabout. If we say over here to there, that's like 80 days. So if you do 80 days, then so far we have spent here 120 or so days. So that's like 1.5. If we do Fibonacci retracement or extension, then 161% extension. Let me see what that calculation comes to be. Just interesting. I just thought of that. I didn't think of this before. So if you had, for example, 80 days and you multiply that by 1.618, that brings it to 130 days. Okay, 130 days. So how does that compare? 130 days starting from here, 130 days. You know, we'll be coming very close, not necessarily exactly, but we'll be coming very, very close. We'll be starting from there, and so far up to today, oh mind you, I'm sorry, I am really sorry, I was on 4-hour chart, so that would make a difference. Let's do that calculation again. Where are we now? We lost our bearing on here now. Okay, so we are here, right? Okay, so from here we are looking at the actual top of the shoulder to here. Okay, so that was like, yeah, it's like 80 days, 70, 79, 80 days. So if you round it up, say 80 days, 80 days, and if you multiply 1.618, we are going to come to about 130 days. What did I say? Got a bucket like a head, or a head like a bucket. 80 times 1.618, 130 days. Okay, so 130 days. So that means starting from here, and this is daily definitely. So far we've done 122 days. You know, it's going to be fairly close. So I think in terms of that, we should be expecting this wave to complete definitely next week. I think we'll be coming very close to it, and then we'll start making our way to the downside. Okay, so that's a big picture of where the dollar index is going, and we may find that because of this RSI almost curling up here, we cannot expect the price to go up significantly higher. Otherwise it will alter this divergence. So at the moment, I think if you get anywhere near around 80.9 or thereabout, or fractionally lower, I think it will have achieved its objective. Okay, so that's a dollar index. So within the dollar index, on the last one here, as you see, the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, currently retracing for wave 4, and then we'll be going up in a wave 5, and that's on a 4-hour chart. So far, if we've done a wave 3, then we've spent 6 4-hour bars. 6 4-hour bars, and we are now currently trying to retrace. So when we do a Fibonacci, let me put a Fibonacci projection on here. So starting from there to the high of 3 and applying that from 4. Now we haven't got the 4 complete yet, but assume 4 is somewhere over here. Then the minimum requirement you would expect is a 50%. So that 50% puts us to 80.65, which is only marginally above the current one, but more than likely we might get 61.8. So if you get 61.8, so that comes in at 80.7. So really from 80.7 to I think 80.8, 80.90 is probably the maximum end that I'm looking for a wave 5 completion. And then if you look at the RSI on a 4-hour chart as well, then we have a divergent potential in daily. On this one we are currently almost diverging, right? That's wave 3, retracement 4, and currently in wave 5, and within the wave 5 you got a little kink here. So 1 2 3 4 and 5, so we're going to get double divergence in here. Okay, so in other words, we will get divergence between this main wave 3 and wave 5, but within the wave 5 we'll get a divergence between the current high and this last next push up. So I think we should find this wave 5 completing by tomorrow, I think, very latest. On Fridays or Mondays are often high of the week, so most likely tomorrow it might form a high on a dollar index. There aren't any major news. There are a couple of items, but not a major news. Nevertheless, this is what it seems to be suggesting at the moment for the dollar index. Right, so with that done, let us go over to the Canadian pairs. And for the Canadian pairs, the Euro CAD is the first one. Okay, now Euro CAD, there's something a little different happening with the Euro in general, so I'll try and explain that. So in a Euro CAD, for example, we've got, see this move down in this minor declining trend channel actually was ABC zigzag, and ordinarily that kind of retracement could be over, but recently Euro has been fairly weak. So what we got here is a kind of flat correction, so that's why we haven't started up in a new uptrend. So this minor ABC actually becomes wave A here, and then this one becomes wave B there. Okay, so this wave B might not be over. What it seems like on this 4-hour chart is this one looks like more like A, B and C. So we had the ABC zigzag down, wave A, we got ABC back up, then we seem to have come down so far, not very clear, but seem to have so far come down ABC, or this could be 1 2 3 4, and another little move to the downside could give us a 5-wave potential on that one. Okay, so what's it going to give us? We might finish it with A, B and C to the downside. So that is one possibility for dollar CAD, I mean Euro CAD. Okay, so if for example we are currently retracing to the upside, so if we say we have that little upside retracement finish and then we get another leg down like that, then what we would have had is we had A, B and C. That's first and the simplest possible option. Okay, now the other thing could be at play, and that is we have wave A. Now what we're looking for is a flat correction here. So this could be A, this we may not get this 5-wave down here, we might have finished already. So in green I'm going to say we might go straight up here, make that one green as a possible alternative. So what we might get is we might go back up to this range. So then it will form wave A here, and then this one will be minor A, minor B, and minor C, and this minor C would actually give us a wave B. So we'll have wave A down here, A, B, and C as a wave B, and then we come down for a final leg down. So we'll finish up with a flat correction. So either we are going to get another leg down here to complete, or we are going to do this sort of move in the Euro CAD, and in fact in all Euro pairs, majority of the Euro pairs, except I didn't mean to delete that, except yen, Euro yen. Except Euro yen will be doing this exactly the same. In fact, yesterday I suggested in the Euro pound that we are possibly going to get flat correction, and I didn't know at the time that we might have the same thing potentially playing out in other Euro pairs, but I am seeing this now, and the Euro pound is definitely playing out this, which is we had ABC down, then we got A, B, and C as a flat correction, then we have another leg down. So broadly speaking, we might not actually come much deeper, but we'll travel sideways, correct sideways. So for example, either we have this leg down in a red and then start going up, or we have green leg going up back to this sort of level, and then another green leg down here, and then we finish that, so we can then look for a bottom, and we'll then start looking for going up. And during that time, Euro, generally speaking, will continue or complete most of its correction against other pairs, including dollar. So this is Euro CAD. So Euro CAD, if you did want to go long, there is no presently there is no trade, right? So what I would suggest, we need to try and get into sync with the market. So what I mean by getting in sync with the market is we have followed this rhythm so far. We followed this one that is not an impulsive but still corrective. So this one is correcting this previous leg, this one is correcting that leg, then this coming down, if it's a flat, will be correcting this one, right? And then we'll be going back up. So all of this rigmaroles will be actually correcting just this leg. Then we'll come down here, which will be the second leg down, correcting overall, right? So if the Euro CAD is doing that, then immediately what I would say is try and get a sync. So this is our first effort of getting in sync. That is, whilst the price remains within this or below this declining trend line, there is no trade, but we are looking for a potential long entry. So if this one comes back up and breaks that trend line, we are not necessarily going to assume that means it's a new trend up, right? Other than we get 5 wave to the downside, right? And then we start going up. But if we just basically stay here and start going up, which I think is quite highly likely, then when it breaches this down trend line, we want to see if it's going to top here or just fractionally higher, and also what kind of a wave does it go up by, right? Because remember, this is ABC up, then we got ABC down, so we should see this one going up in a 5 wave. Okay, so if we see 5 wave, we won't mistake that as a part of a new wave, because if we see 5 wave, we are not interested to get long yet. What we will then look for is we want ABC zigzag, right? If this is a new, if for example we have finished a correction and we are now starting off a new leg with a 5 wave up, that's okay. What we then looking to do is, in here we'll look to come down wave A, for example, we'll see wave B, and we'll look for something that kind of order, and then we'll be looking for retracement of this leg, maybe somewhere about 50%, or slightly deeper, and that's when we will be looking for going long. Other than that, this one will go up to here to complete the flat correction. We'll see another leg down, so we'll be looking to go long more closer to about 132 area, previously an area where we've had a resistance, so that could turn into potential support. Okay, so we won't rush into this. And the same thing is going to happen with most of the euro pairs, although we're looking at Canadian pairs at the moment. But the same sort of thing will happen with the euro pairs. Now I'll briefly show you when we go to euro currency pairs, which is not scheduled for today, but we will just have a quick glance at it. Right, this is pound CAD. This is a big trade, and it's looking very ugly because of the nature of the pound CAD price movement. Okay, but so far we are still good. We can retrace almost. We don't want really 100% retracement. We can retrace as deeply into there as, without technically throwing our concept completely out of the bin. At the moment we've retraced, and I think we've probably done about 88%. Let me just see. And pound in other pairs is getting quite interesting. We done more than that. Okay, so we've done more than 88%. So let's say we've done, really this is really deep, very deep. But the important thing is on the daily chart we still have, and I'm not really trying to be very finicky about this thing, we still have potential RSI divergence developing, assuming that the price don't continue indefinitely and it doesn't take out the previous low. Okay, then we are still potentially in the same sort of ABC coming down. We are still in the same sort of potential, looking for a long trade to the upside. So on a daily we have a potential divergence. We again have divergence in the 4-hour, which is over here, right? It's only marginal, not very much really, unless we take up this. Well, no, 4-hour we got no divergence, so that would suggest that we are reaching to the absolute maximum limit of where this correction is likely to end. Otherwise, for the pound CAD at least, we may have to look at it again. But for the time being, it's still within concept of getting long and looking for potential bottoming in pound CAD. But we will use this pair to help us time entry into the other one. We wouldn't use this pair to actually go long. Although, if we did get a good reversal bar, the risk would be very minimal. Because we do not expect price to go any further. So you might, for example, if you did get a price, you'll be 40-50 pip probably maximum stop loss. You would not expect price to go beyond that. If it is, then of course in our account we might need to revise. But anyway, we are not looking for long entry in pound CAD. It's an absolute mess in terms of, it's a bloodbath. If you get it wrong, you snuff life out of you, and if you get it right, then suddenly you hit a jackpot. So it's not a kind of pair I think, so whilst it's in this congestion, we would look to actually go long with. But nevertheless, we are coming to an absolute extreme and still potentially expecting a divergence on the RSI on daily chart. So that's the most important part. And the price is still above the starting point of the this what I thought and still think is wave 1 in parentheses. Okay, so we'll look at another CAD pair. We will look at pound CAD. So we looked at this Aussie CAD, and Aussie CAD is getting very interesting. Aussie CAD is getting very interesting because I have explained previously before. So let me just remind you. This is the monthly chart of Aussie CAD, and in Aussie CAD, I think this was the highest price I've got on my on this platform. Let me see if I've got a better chart on Aussie CAD from this Ninja Trader. If I've got a longer history, Aussie CAD, if I can find it. Aussie CAD, got it. Okay, so this is the daily chart. So if I go into the weekly, come on, is he going to draw or not? Yes, connected. Okay, not sure what happened here. Anyway, it's somehow not playing ball, so we'll leave it. But basically, you can imagine that this price must have traveled from the low, because Aussie dollar was fairly strong for quite a while, so it could have traveled from the low, and it made this high here. Okay, so since then, what I think is we've had this ABC as a possible C, ABC one zigzag, ABC back up as a second zigzag, and ABC down to complete this wave A in parentheses, what I'm counting. Okay, and you see, if we got ABC and then RSI here is higher than where the RSI started, so I think this wave is a connecting wave X, because if you see on this, we are looking at monthly chart, by the way. So you got, that's the high RSI there. This RSI high is for this one, but there is a significant difference between the two levels on the price. So I think that's a connecting wave X. So I think what we got is ABC to give us wave A, connecting wave X, and then another ABC down. So that completed a zigzag. And then what we are doing here is going back up. So I think we've got a flat correction effectively. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we had ABC down here, X, another ABC, and we are going in to complete to the top side. Now, when you look at it on a weekly chart, you can see that we have potentially wave A, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to give us wave A, ABC back to give us wave B, and then we are in a wave C, which is a rising wedge pattern. That rising wedge pattern coming after this rise suggests an ending pattern. Okay, now if that is an ending pattern, then we must be now beginning to start on a new leg to the downside. An ending pattern meaning that absolutely at the minimum we would expect a retracement of this leg somehow. So maybe something like 50%. That's the absolute minimum. But more than likely, we might actually come all the way back down to retest this low. Right? So in that sense, I think it's a big picture analysis, big picture trend developing. So if we assume that that was the ending diagonal, then within that ending diagonal, coming down, we've got a very strong 5-wave move to the downside. We go to starting from high here, and let me just, okay, so if you look at that, then the highest high is here. So we go wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. So that gave us 5-wave down, so I'm calling that wave 1 or an A. Then we got ABC back up, so potentially wave 2 or a B, and then see what happens here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think what we got happening here is we got this super nesting, what I call is like 1, 2, 1, 2. So he's trying to get going like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go kind of thing, you know. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, and then in the second part, which is the wave 3, we've got 1 and 2. Okay, and then now I think we are in a real big strong leg to the downside. So are we going to get that? That's what I think we are in. That means if this was wave 1 or an A, then we got wave 2 or a B, then in a wave C we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll go down to 50% of what I was suggesting, coming down to here, or probably retesting this low here. Okay, so from here, even if you come 50%, say being very cautious, from there to there, that's like about 1600 pips. Okay, but if you go, you know, for this one, then it's almost like nearly 3000 pips. So I'm going to explain this because I think this will take a little bit of effort to time. So we are in a, I think we are in a wave 3. So if I just draw that, see, we already had wave 1 down, then we did wave 2 up, and we should be doing wave 3 like that. And within that wave 3, what we done is we done wave 1 and we done wave 2, and in fact that wave 1 was here, and we've done wave 2, fairly deep retracement, wave 2, and then what we're going to have is wave 3 like so. Okay, and then this is going to be wave 4, and eventually having wave 5 to finish either this C, which is 1. So we've had this one was the highest high, which we labeled A in our chart. Okay, so this one is, I think we can say, is a wave 1 or an A. Okay, that's what we were saying. So since then we've got this one here coming in as potentially wave 2 or B. Okay, at the moment we're not certain, 2 or a B. So we, at least as an absolute minimum, we expect at least an equal distance of wave A to be added on there. Okay, so that means we'll be coming like 50% of the retracement, or maybe a little bit under 50% of the retracement. But if we get this, what I think is 1, 2, and then we've had 1, for example, like that, 1 and 2, you can understand what I'm saying is super nesting, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to get into 3. So this leg we see should be very strong, and you can see already that I think we've got minor 1, minor 2, minor 3, minor 4, and minor 5, and that 5 already also got 5 waves in. Okay, then we've done a retracement. So really this is getting very interesting, I think. If we put a Fibonacci on there, because if that's a 5 wave down, we put a Fibonacci for retracement. Let me just take this away. Okay, so if we do Fibonacci retracement on there, so far we appear to have done just fraction under 50%. Okay, so what I should now do is say this is the wave A. This is very clear. This one is a wave A, and this is on 4-hour chart now, by the way, wave A, and I'll type correctly in a moment. Wave A. So what we've got now is the wave B currently being developed. So as we know, wave C rather, I must learn my alphabets again. Wave C is being currently in progress. So if you look at it on the RSI, we can do few things here. We're looking for this one here. Okay, so we are currently doing for waves C, so that will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So one complete cycle done. Will be now retracing for a wave 2 cycle of this current sequence. So we are looking at RSI, and you see what the RSI is suggesting at the moment. If you put a line up there, you see just barely supporting. So if you get any weakness on the price, we will breach the trend line on the RSI. But if you look at the price itself, then what we've got on the price is this last leg. So we drop down to 1 hour. Okay, so you can easily put a trend line on the price like so. Okay, so as long as the price remains up on the upside, of that trend line, we are still progressing to the upside. So this one, first leg, is a 5 wave. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we had A, B and C back down. So because it's in 5 wave, we would expect the 5 wave to the upside on the second leg. So maybe perhaps so this is 1, this is 2, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's a wave 3. This is written in wave 4, and we are now proceeding in a wave 5. Now if I look at the wave 5, I don't know what we're going to get, but my feeling is we might get, this is getting really micro now, but my feeling is we're actually going to get possibly like an ending triangle, ending pattern somehow. Difficult to actually point out, but I think an ending pattern, because ending pattern often goes as the last piece, but it is the final one up. So we've done wave 1, wave 2. If we don't get an ending pattern, then of course what we'll get, we will still look for within this last piece, because we've got already 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are currently in the fifth one. The fifth one we need 5 waves also. So minor 1, minor 2. We are currently developing minor 3, get a retracement. So if I just draw that out, we'll get like so. Change the color. So we're going to get wave 3, a small retracement wave 4, and then small up wave 5, and that's where it's going to end, I think. And really speaking, if that one then lines up with few things, like for example the fib retracement, as I was saying, of that previous drop, we've already done 38%, so we might come into 50%. That could be a good one, okay, if it comes to 50%. The other thing is that if we do AB equals CD and just measure that, and then we place it on the low here, that one is suggesting a little bit higher up, okay. So what I do sometimes, well, not sometimes but most of the times, is you can actually put a fib projection on there. So AB equals CD will give you 100% measurement, but if you put fibs on like this, then you see where we are getting cluster, okay. So the cluster is at if I take 61% out, 50 out and 61 out, okay, so we've got 78% coming in this area. So potentially I could be looking for getting short if I find now that this last piece does the 5 waves on this 1 hourly chart, 5 waves. And then what you could do is two things. You can enter long, or enter short rather, which is what we're looking to do. Enter short on the basis that you see a reversal bar somewhere in the region of 1.0395 to maybe round it up to say 1.04, 1.04 approximately, okay. Around about that sort of a time I would expect a reversal to be complete, bearing in mind that on the daily we don't have a lot of movement to the upside because of the RSI divergence we're looking for. So we could do that, or on this hourly chart you can say, okay, what I'll do is I'll put a stop sell here, which is below this pivot. So when it breaks, you'd never enter the trade until the price actually breaks the trend line and resume the next down leg. So that's where you will have a stop sell order at 1.034, for example. And then if you get a next high pivot, then all you do is you lift your order up. So for example, we got this high, so you lift the order up. Then if you get this leg up and a small retracement, then you can lift your order up. So all you're doing is every time you get a high on this hourly chart, you lift your order up. So you'll not prematurely enter the trade. If this one carries on going all the way up there, you never enter the trade until it takes a pivot out. And we're not expecting for it to go up there anyway, but we're expecting, so it takes a pivot out, so you will join, and then your stop will be immediately above the high just done, where, you know, high before you were taken into the trade. Now this next leg we'll be looking to join in this area, okay. So we've already had this wave 1 down, wave 2 up. So on the we had this big one down, retracement 2, we've already had this one down, and we retracement 2 on this on the second one, and within this one we've already done this first leg down, right? So really this is where we are. We've already done this and currently trying to do that, and in this one we'll get 5 waves. We'll get like so. I know it's getting rather messy, but I'm trying to illustrate so you understand. That's what we're looking for. So in that wave 3 we're looking for 5 waves, and within that 5 waves this is where we are looking to join. So this will be wave 3 of 3 of 3 at 3 different levels. So this leg down and then wave 3, you know, often extends. What I'm drawing here will probably be nothing, but this is just a schematic diagram. It's not exactly to the scale. So we're looking to join over here. So if you join over there, hopefully you join with a fairly small stop loss, i.e. see this pivot here. So if you use the 4-hour chart, this will be your pivot, you know. But if you enter the way I just suggested and you have a high, then you can put stop just above that high. But if you have it here to there, it's only about 40 or 50 pips, so it's not really a huge amount, and the price is still coming up. So we might be able to get a good trade lining up with only about 40-50 pip stop loss, and looking to ride that to the downside, shorting Aussie against the Canada, and it's going to be at least as an absolute minimum. See this rising trend line, as an absolute minimum will be coming to test that trend line. So even if it did that one, that is about 250 pips, but I think the trend line will break and will be looking to come down, and I'm gauging that based on the fact that this big on a weekly chart, this is an ending diagonal. If this is an ending diagonal, we'll get a new move to the downside, and in that new move we've done wave 1, and this is all part of wave 2, and we're looking now for wave 3 to develop, which will be strong. So and in fact you will find the same kind of trade in Aussie Swiss, and this is interesting because this would suggest that Aussie will probably be becoming very, very weak soon. And if some of you are trading euro against the Aussie, you will probably get fantastic trade to the upside, but then these are other alternative pairs will be giving correspondingly a similar kind of magnitude of long-term swing trade. Okay, so whilst we are looking for Canadian pairs, but I'm specifically also trying to draw attention to the fact that if you looked at Aussie pairs as a group, we might do that another time, you'll probably find something similar appearing. And then on the same score, to slightly lesser degree, we have New Zealand CAD. The New Zealand CAD, again, I don't have a price history on here, so let's see if I'm successful in this other one. New Zealand CAD, where is it? Okay, see, New Zealand CAD is in a very same sort of situation. It's come from the bottom, it's done a wave A, and you can see it's a very big one. This is on daily, so it's very big one, and this is helping to actually confirm what we just did in Aussie Canada. Now this is the wave 1, wave A, B and C like a flat to give us wave B. We've done wave C, A, B and C, another flat to give us wave D, and we are now trying to do wave E. And interestingly, within the wave E, we also got another small wedge pattern. I hope you can see that. So you got wave A, wave B, wave C, and wave D, and I think we are almost close to forming a wave E, right? If I just stretch this out a little bit, okay, so you've got, remember we're in a last piece here, and within the last piece you've got wave A, wave B. Then this is a little bit complex in a sense of the way these things are, and what I'm expecting is that once I put this parallel trend channel to the upside, what I'm expecting though is this. See, if you put this brown line, connect this high and connect this recent high, then this is what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get like that. Okay, so what will happen is that either will this will form wave C here, I think. Okay, and this line I put in here, I've done it this way, but it's possible that this line could even be sloping a bit more. But regardless of that, I'll leave it there for the time being. Regardless of that, you see this D never came to the trend line. Okay, so that's why I'm suggesting that we could actually do that. So we find a little overshoot of the trend line, but in a sense we are toward the very end of this New Zealand CAD. And so if I take that away, okay, so this is the wave C. We had ABC down to wave D, and this wave E is going to be here. So soon this wedge will be finishing, and if you look at the RSI on this daily chart, you can see RSI is showing you clear divergence at 3 level. It's showing you divergence, this one corresponding with this high here, then you see retracement and a leg up. So we're seeing divergence in wave C and the prior high. Then we had a retracement down for wave D, and we are now going back into wave E. Wave E currently is just fractionally below the last high, and we'll be looking for a divergence. So if the price then, for example, falls out from this area here like that, then in essence we will see similarly RSI turning down also, right? So New Zealand dollar is relatively strong compared with Aussie dollar, and that's why Aussie dollar is weakening first, and the New Zealand dollar is still going up. But potentially this will be coming to an end very soon, and this could be an alternative trade, but this will help us to also confirm the trade on the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar has already got a head start. So New Zealand dollar is in a likewise in this very end pattern here, and so end pattern we are looking for is potentially this triangle. Let me make that one brown color. And then we had a high somewhere here, and we were looking for trend line developing. This is the weekly chart. So yeah, so we are currently in this last piece here, and this last piece we've already got A, B, C, D, and we are going into this last one. And this last one, I think on the other chart we were saying that we've got potential a wedge pattern developing in there as well. So we might have like so. At the moment we've got no clear way, so I think what's going to happen, this price is still going up on this weekly chart, so maybe this one's got a bit more play. This one is going to come down whenever that thing is finished, and then in essence we're probably going to have another high like that, and by that time we'll be looking to end that pattern, and then we will have had A, B, C, D and E, and on E we might not get all the way to the top trend line. We might stop maybe just short of that. If we don't get this, then what we're going to find is that this pattern, this will head straight up there. Let me do it a little bit sensibly, okay, like that, and this is what we're going to get, and fairly soon. I think if you ignore this one, we connect this one, then that's where it's going to be. And the other thing I can do is I can put this fib zone like I said on the last one. So if we do 78%, let me put 61% on there as well, 0.618. %, right? So we were already touching the 61%. So 78.6% comes in the level round about 87.55. So you know, maybe we might have to leave that one there. So this one will go and hit that in that area. So we will have had A, B, C, D and E, and not necessarily all with the 5 waves, because some can be 5. See this previous one was A, B, C up. Okay, so it's quite possible that we got A, B, C up. So that's basically what I'm looking for. So this pair will probably top out in the area of around 87, 80, and we would be looking for corresponding divergence between remember this is a weekly chart. You see on the RSI, divergence between this high, and this high, like a third divergence on a weekly chart. If you went down to daily chart, then we will also be looking for divergence on the daily chart. We don't have long to go either. Look, we really don't have long to go. So I think that pair will be topping out soon. I would not be surprised if we top out probably sometime during next week. And in this one we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if 9 is all we had, that would be like a corrective wave completing and will be then turning down. So we'll just have to wait and see when this one actually finishes. We got slightly steeper trend on that one. Say blue, you know, slightly steeper trend on that one. So we'll have to wait and see. But broadly speaking, I'm looking for potential top in the region of, I mean, if it gets up to there, it's still got a couple of 100 pips to run possibly, right? If it doesn't get there, then it will probably fail before that. But see, RSI is not leaving a lot of room. So what we might get, I think, is we might get from here, we might get a small correction and we might get another push up there. That would probably complete, and we'll get RSI begin to very seriously start diverging even on the daily chart. Okay, so that's a New Zealand CAD. CAD yen, most yen pairs are, I think, in a process of topping out, or they've already topped. I think CAD yen is already topped. For example, here this top, you see it's come down in wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We've retraced possibly ABC, or we might do a little flat here, right? So most of the yen pairs are doing this kind of a thing. So here we've got ABC up, we've got ABC back down, so we might get another little push higher there. So we will have had A, B and C, if you see what I mean, and then we'll be looking to come down. So if you were looking to short anything on the yen, then there are a few pairs that you can consider shorting. CAD yen could be one of them, because it's had 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so that's a 5 wave down. A, B, C back up, so you look to short in the region of 93.88, 93.90 area somewhere, and then your stop is not very far away. You're only about 50, 60 pip stop. Okay, but that would be the possibility for shorting CAD yen. And similarly most of the other yen, and I was going to show you one of the yen pairs, the major yen pair in fact, which is the US dollar yen. Where is it? Market overview. Or is it hiding? No, it's definitely on this one somewhere. I've got it. Yeah. It's in Japanese yen. Japanese yen. So did I have that in the yen? No. um, hmm. Okay, I haven't got it, but what I'm gonna do is going to draw another chart quickly. um, we're looking for US dollar yen. US dollar yen. Not having a lot of success. US dollar yen. Okay. um, Template, load, USD. Oh no, we're looking for US dollar yen, so we're going to be looking for sorry, not this one. We were looking for okay, so we're going to load on here. Okay, so what I was going to show you on here is this is a chart with a correlation on which the chart overlaid. Okay, now previously we looked at a Japanese Nikkei index in our initial review, where we said wave 1, wave 2 and potentially wave 3 is done. Okay, so in this particular case you can see certainly there has been some correlation between Japanese Nikkei index and Japanese yen with US dollar, but particularly from here you can see it's almost step to step. Okay, so the Nikkei index is a bit more clearer than the yen. So 1, 2 and I think it's 3 done. If you look at the RSI, you can see it's about to drop through this trend line here, and what that will do is it will complete wave 3, come down for wave 4, which is what I'm expecting. This wave 3 done, we're coming down for wave 4. If we put a Fibonacci on there, then we're expecting at least 23%, more likely 38%. So if you come down to 38%, then the Nikkei index will have come to previous resistance, and it came, now gone over, potentially become support. So ideally we want to look for Japanese Nikkei index to fall to that sort of level, around 10,300 or so. Now along with that, I think the yen is going to correct as well, and you can see so far it's coming straight down. If you look at the, you see even a 4-hour chart, this was the highest high and it's come down. Now it's a little bit interesting because what we just noted on a CAD yen is exactly the same thing we are noticing on here. We have on here on the Nikkei index, we've got like A, B, C to the downside. Then on the way back up, it's not a 5 wave, it's A, B, C, but it's an expanded flat. So what might happen on this expanded flat is that we might not get the deep retracement we're looking for unless it gets strong. But at the moment, this one here is more like A, B, C, and in the same way Japanese yen have done the same. Japanese yen had a high here, for example. It's done A, B and C to the downside. It's gone back up, it's higher than the previous one, but it's gone back up is A, B and C. So I think what has happened is the impulsive wave on the Japanese yen actually finished on 5th 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 just make sure, on 5th of February. 5th of February was a high, and although we got a higher high now, that higher high is not actually a new directional high. It's an expanded flat. So what an expanded flat does, it say for example from the high here we have wave A down, which is what this is, ABC wave A, then wave B should only go part way, but normally in a normal zigzag, but in this case is gone beyond the origin of wave A. So we are now going to have wave C like that. So I think it's going to be expanded flat. So in an expanded flat we will expect that this leg to be much lower. Okay, so US dollar yen has already started, and we were also saying based on the dollar index that the dollar index will be topping out soon, and yen is part of a dollar index, then we would expect the dollar index to weaken, which means that it would weaken against the yen. So in that particular logic, I think most of the pairs have topped, but there is one interesting pair, and with your permission I'd like to take you on to that one, and I think that would be the best one to short. Is one we said Canadian pair is a good one, relatively small risk. And if you look at New Zealand yen, and we look at the daily price bar, the daily price bar is finished up with like a spinning, it's not spinning top, it's actually it's got a wick on both sides. Earlier on we were looking like a potential hammer, but inverted hammer, but now it's got a wick at the bottom, wick at the top. But if you look at it on a 4 hour, this is what it's got. This is exactly what we just noted in the Aussie in the US dollar yen, is that we had a high here which was back on 6th of February in the case of New Zealand yen. It's come down. You can see this one is not clear 5 wave down, but it's probably like ABC zigzag, another ABC down. So basically we got ABC down as that, then going back up we got A, B and C to the upside. Okay, so if you look at that in a smaller time frame, i.e. say an hour chart, so we've gone A, B and C. Now we have started making our way to the downside. We've got a potential low here, so we've retraced to 78%. So potentially if you were to go short fairly soon, then your stop can be above the high, and from the current action you're about 50 pip away. Okay, and you have already retraced somewhere in the region 61%. Is the retracement over? Okay, so this is looking a little bit interesting. You've got a strong leg up, so what you expect on that one is you get leg down, and then you expect another leg up, and that would be your confirmation. Is that if you look at it in 15 minutes, you got this strong leg up, so you want this coming down, a retracement of that somewhere like I've just showed you here, somewhere over here, right, which is in terms of reading, is reading somewhere about 78, 90 somewhere, for it to come down in ABC down, and then it would do another leg up. So potentially if it gets back to here, somewhere around 79.40 area, right, potentially you're ready for shorting at that level with a stop just above, and in which case overall your risk will be only about 30 or so pip, 30-40 pip, and then overall you're expecting that one to at least drop, retracing some of this here. So just eyeballing it without sort of working out too much, just eyeballing it, you're expecting it to at least drop back to say this median rising pitchfork median line. So from the current price is about 350 pip. So if you're taking 40-50 pip potential risk for something like 200-300 pip run, then it's worth it, I think. It could well work out. And in terms of the RSI, you can see again the price has gone high, and we've got a secondary divergence as well. So most of the yen pairs are potential in a short area. It's just a question of where you short it. But as I said yesterday, counter trend trades are difficult, so you would rather be advised to wait for a pullback which completes and then go for the long entry. But if you were thinking that you're stuck and you're in between, you don't know which one to really trade, then some of these yen pairs are setting up for trade. The only thing you need to do is enter with appropriate risk management, and don't definitely have your stop in place, and don't commit to such a large position to start off with. And this trade you shouldn't be looking to build position, because it's not position trading. It will be like a counter trend trade. Okay, I was just going to take you into the euro currently so I can explain to you something. How are we doing with the time? Okay, we're going a little bit over. Euro pound. Remember yesterday I was saying we are going to get 5-wave move to the downside. Okay, maybe that thing will happen, but should be soon. So possibly we've had this ABC down, then I think we got ABC back up, or the ABC backup is probably not finished, in which case we might see this leg go up there. So here we had A, B and C. So that's what I mean. Maybe it's not finished, and if it's not finished, then we will go back up, and then we're going to come down. It's going to be a flat correction. So what most of the euro pairs will do, other than the euro yen, is that it is going to be congesting sideways like this. So wave A, wave B and wave C. If ABC is A, ABC backup is B, then wave C in a flat correction will be 5-wave. So we'll get a very strong move to the downside, 5-wave. But it probably is not ready yet. I think it's got a bit more work to do to the upside. Then we'll see this 5-wave decline. And I ask myself, why would we get a 5-wave decline? The only thing is that the euro will remain relatively weak or neutral against US dollar, and the pound will start rallying now, regaining some of the lost ground. That's the only reason we would get euro pound actually move to the downside with a 5-wave move to the downside. But overall we're getting flat correction, and that's what I pointed out yesterday, and I should have gotten on to the fact that the other euro pairs will be doing the same. So we, for example, looked at euro CAD, and we're suggesting that is going to be potentially a flat correction. Okay, and then the euro Aussie. Now euro Aussie, we were looking to go long round here, thinking that this is going to be contracting triangle. But if I cotton on to the fact that the euro is in a flat, this is what's happened in a flat. So we still potentially the trade should develop, because we have for example this trend line here connecting this high and this high, so that comes into play here. It's still a bit further away from the price. Secondly, we have definitely an uptrend, and then if you look at the 4-hour chart, then on a 4-hour chart we were looking for this potential what you call let me take this away because it's not currently helping us. So we were looking for contracting triangle, and it did really confirm everything to the contracting triangle, but it's not worked, and the euro has been weak. So what the euro Aussie's done is that it's done a wave A down, then it's done ABC back up the wave B. Okay, so now this is the flat. Okay, this is what I mean by flat, is we've done wave A, then if I change this number now, because it's no longer contracting triangle, okay, so what we got is wave B. So we got wave A, then we got A, B and C. Okay, now remember what we said is, if this A is a zigzag, wave A is a zigzag, wave B is a zigzag, sorry, start all over again. So we've got wave A, then we got A, B and C. That's what we're doing. So the wave B goes there. So that was correct. Wave A, wave B, and then in the wave C we got A, B and C. So wave A is a zigzag, wave B is a zigzag, so we should get 5 wave in this one, right? And that's the reason why you see such a powerful move to the downside. So wave 5, we, once it's complete, we could very well probably come back to this level here. See, previously an area of resistance could become support. So now we're looking for long entry around 27, 28, if you call it 28 as an approximate region, and then see if that is now developing 5 wave. You see, for example, here this is 5 wave down, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3, which is very strong wave 3. Very strong wave 3. So 1 2 3, 1 2 3 4 and 5 is still in that wave 3. So what we will get is we'll still want another leg lower, so that completes 1 2 3 4 and 5. Then we will get ABC retracement back up, and then we will see another leg lower, which would then confirm what we're looking for, 5 wave down for the bottom, and we'll be ready to consider going long on that one. So if I've snookered some of you, I do apologize, and really I've got no excuse. I should have really realized this, because I reckon from pound, euro pound, that we were in a flat, and I should have quickly thought that most of the other currency. That's why when we look at many of these currency in a group, it should really give us an insight, because when we see one thing happening in one particular currency pair, then that particular group of currency pair often does very similar sort of things. So from that perspective, I have no excuse, but I think I slipped up on it. So but nevertheless, we should still be looking for this 5 wave to finish here, and then we would have had wave A, wave B, which we did here somewhere, wave B, and we'll be looking for wave C to complete here, 5 wave down. And once we've done that, then this will be ready to start going up again. So really good entry, I think, will be 128 around here, ideally. But if it doesn't get all the way to 128, what we'll be looking for now is something like on a 4-hour, we'll be looking for clear divergence. Remember, we said wave 3, highest momentum wave 3, so we are currently still in a wave 3. Then we'll get retracement and another leg down for 5. We should get divergence from the 4-hour chart on RSI. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, a long entry around 128. I think that's all. That's all for me. I don't know if there's anything else that you want me to cover. The video is getting a little bit long, but if there is something that you want me to cover urgently, I will include it. Otherwise, we could conclude our review here. And I think there is enough. There is some yen pairs potential long trade happening. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Pound. Now we already looked at pound Canada, but look at pound New Zealand. Okay, brutal looking bar now is really collapsing, and it's done a new lower low. Okay, so now it's definitely, as far as the pound New Zealand is concerned, it's in the low. However, see, if we look at this, where I put this vertical line, we still have potential divergence on the RSI, quite a very strong one, in fact, because this is on a weekly chart, and we're looking at this low here, which is going back in 2011, and we are looking at the low now, and we still got potential divergence on the RSI. It won't last for very long, but there is still a good possibility of a divergence developing on the weekly chart. And I think something with all these lines. Okay, so on a weekly chart we have a divergence. If I drop down to the daily, then on a daily we can still see there is a prospect, not a strong one, but there is a prospect of divergence still there. Okay, it's not gone yet. and the bar today is brutally, it's a big one. uh, it well it's not unusually big one. I think yesterday's one was the bigger one. um, but you can see on RSI, I think we're still within. I think we are going to be forming a bottom here very soon. I think what will happen most likely is the week will close here, and many people will be looking to short this one now, will probably quote the wrong way, I think, because this is on a pound New Zealand. Okay, and remember, on the New Zealand we were saying potential top in the New Zealand yen, and when one pair does one thing with one particular currency, you'll find that it does the same with everything else most often. So I think we'll be looking for New Zealand to start weakening soon. And remember, we looked at New Zealand Canada, and we're expecting soon on that one a top to form. So I think in the same way, New Zealand dollar will lose some of its sparkle fairly soon, and then pound will start regaining. If you look at the pound Aussie is still within the clear area for going long. So I think the odd one out is a pound New Zealand, which I think is going to snooker people, because they'll be caught the wrong way. It will be a false break. It won't be a one that will continue with like several hundred pips below. Okay, we should be looking for a bounce in a pound soon, and this entry is still within a play. So pound is still within a play. If you look at the pound properly on the pound dollar chart, then you can see from yesterday's explanation that we were in this final leg, and in that final leg we've got 1, 2, and we are currently working on a 3. Currently 3 is still ongoing, not finished yet. So within a 3 we've got 1, 2, 3, and in that 3 we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're still working on that. That's why the move is so strong. So I think the low is going to be a little bit lower than where we imagine it would be. So I think it could be that we would probably get to somewhere about 154.50. If I look at an hourly chart, you see 4 hour, we have a divergence developing there. On 4 hour divergence is nearly gone. There is a minor chance of divergence, but I wouldn't really say a big one, but it's still there nevertheless, technically still there. And then on a daily we still have a clear divergence on a pound dollar daily, and on a smaller time frame we definitely have divergence building. So it will take a while for that to develop, but I think as far as the daily is concerned, we are in an area where we should have a support developing soon, and tomorrow I think might actually be the last day down. Fridays do highs and lows of the week, Friday and Monday. So I think quite possibly Friday will probably form the low on the pound. So I'm still not giving up. I'm still going to be looking to enter long, but do so at the right time. At the moment it is still going strong. On a 4 hour you can see we're still currently in the strongest part of the wave, but you can see it's curling up. So this is the wave 3. So here you go 1, 2, 3. That will curl up, and then we'll get tomorrow another push, and that will probably give us the divergence on 4 hour chart. And if it doesn't happen, it will probably happen on a Monday. On a Monday you might get a gap down and then probably start going up. Okay, enough from me. Are there any other questions, any comments, or are we satisfied? Helpful? A lot to take, and I know you can't trade all of these things, but certainly looking at them will help you to start looking at other pairs that you are actually trading in the way that would help. And this here, wave 1 on a pound, if the wave 3 is extended, wave 1 often is equal to wave 5. So if I put here, see wave 5 is almost there. That one is about 154.63, so like 154.50, and outside probably 154. Okay, great. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. I'll post the recordings out as usual, and tomorrow Friday. So we'll go over the normal scheduled pairs. Tomorrow is US dollar pairs. So hopefully that will give us a more clear idea about what the dollar index is doing, and we might perhaps look at what pound is doing, and some of the other pairs that may be lining up. Okay. Any other questions and comments? Let me know. You got my email and Skype, and I look forward to you joining me tomorrow. In the meantime, I wish you well and successful trading. So I'll stop the recording here.